Hello there, my name is Kevin, aka Toying Around. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the Marvel Legends series Deluxe MODOK action figure. Right away from the box you can see it's a departure from like your classic Marvel Legends packaging from Hasbro, where there's a clear window on the front and you can see the inside, see the figure. This one has a mock-up image right on the front. At first I thought this was the back of the box. It's a really cool change. It's definitely a unique figure and it deserves unique packaging as well. We have MODOK on the front. This looks like a maybe digital render of the figure itself, and then we have big bold letters, the mental organism designed only for killing. I love explaining that to my kids. They're like, what's a MODOK? The very top of the box has a MODOK face inside a familiar Marvel Legends circular icon. The sides of the box have really beautiful artwork showing off MODOK using some of his powers. And on the back we have a little breakdown for MODOK, the freak product of intense scientific experimentation. The living computer MODOK now sits atop a vast empire of criminal co-conspirators bent on world domination. And it's cool, you get to see right on the box, when you pick it up in the store, you can see how big this figure is when you put it together. 8.47 inches, 21.5 centimeters, and this reviewer is thankful that's one less figure I have to measure. And it shows some of the options that you have here for the figure. Let's get this open. Okay, so here is the figure. This is MODOK. This is the figure. You got this figure in this box. Okay? In this thing. That is incredible. It is a very nice engineering feat. Shout outs to the design team, the packaging team. That's incredible. This is essentially a Build-A-Figure in a box because you get all of your parts in this little flat tray. Remember the Sugarman Build-A-Figure? How Sugarman's face was basically taking up the entire box window of Jean Grey, and Jean Grey was off to the side? That's what this feels like. It was all just kind of pieced together. Like I said, you're getting a Build-A-Figure in a box, which makes sense. In the Toy Biz era, MODOK was one of the best Build-A-Figures from that line, from that company. It had one of the best face sculpts I had ever seen, and I thought that it would be very, very hard for Hasbro to top that face sculpt. And even though I prematurely sold that Toy Biz, it kind of worked out because Hasbro ended up making this one, and I can quickly put this thing together because there aren't that many pieces. So I'm not gonna take these two apart, but you plug the little flame, the boost effect into the base, and what you want to do is take the hair piece and put it on the front. This purple part here needs to fit over the front yellow part, the sideburns, the temple, depending on MODOK's physiology. That needs to go over here in front of this golden part on the side. I made the mistake of doing this on a live stream, thinking that I should put the hair piece on the back part of MODOK, and then spent lots of time trying to squeeze this on in front, and as a result I put some stress marks here on the side of my figure. So you don't want to do that. What you want to do is, again, and I'm still struggling with this now, put this on first, slide this base, the round part is going to go inside of the figure on the inside, and then you can close it up. And another genius part of the engineering of this figure is he comes with two expressions. One is a kind of frowning, disappointed, stern face, and this is a more angry, open mouth. You can see the teeth here on the figure, on the expression. And you have the option of just being able to pop in one face, or the other, which is really cool because that gives them the option, which we've seen already in a Hasbro PulseCon exclusive, where you can swap a whole different MODOK face and hairpiece to create a different version of MODOK, which is really cool. Hopefully this is something they can implement on the 6-inch figures, where it's kind of like SH Figuarts, where you can just remove the hairpiece and then swap a faceplate onto your figure and then put the hairpiece back on. It's a little bit more sculpting, a little bit more engineering, but it's a really cool feature to have. So along with the two faceplates, you get two sets of hands. You get two of these high five hands. You get the open trigger hand where he can use his joystick here to move around in his gaming chair, and you also get a right-fisted hand as well. And these hands are really great. They're all sculpted on their little details in the design, and it just looks cool. This is a really fun figure. Another really cool engineering point for this figure, which the Hasbro Legends team mentioned that they borrowed from Mr. Potato Head. I'm not sure if that's true or if it's just a joke they have going on in the office, but you can open up MODOK, put the additional faceplate and extra hands in, and close it back up, and now you have a little storage for all your MODOK accessories. But hey, I wasn't the only one who had troubles with this, okay? I put this up on my Instagram, and a bunch of people messaged me saying, you know what, they had problems with it too. Let's take a look at this figure up close from the bottom. We'll go from least interesting, I guess, to the most interesting. The bottom has this flame blast effect. It's got a really darker color up here, and it's lighter here at the flames at the bottom. It actually rotates at the base if you want a different angle for your flames, your power-ups. All of that goes up into this area, beautifully sculpted, the underside of MODOK. That leads up to you know, the main control panels here. Those buttons there have some red paint and some black outlines, but otherwise there isn't much detailing or paint in there to bring out some of those details. We have the controls. There's a little bit of red here for this front trigger button and some red at the top as well. And overall, it's not much paint on the rest of the body, but it's really, really clean. We can look at some more designs here around the body. The best part is this figure is basically on a stand like this. I can just rotate it. It's a self-contained rotate. Top of the hair is great. So there's a dark brown base for the hair. This is all sculpted. Some lighter brown paints to really bring out some of the details to give it a variance in tone, which looks nice. Again, like I said, the Toy Biz MODOK was one of the best sculpted faces and paints that I've seen. This portrait, my goodness, it's so ugly that's what makes this toy so amazing. Like, you have these huge overhanging brows. I mean, he doesn't have any eyebrow hairs, but like, this is just, the sculpting here is beautiful. And then like, it's just a large, really old catcher's mitt looking face. You know, he's got a tiny little nose there with little nostrils. The whites of the eyes are kind of recessed in. The brows here cast a little bit of shadow on it, and it's just super ugly. And then I could switch it over to the other face, and it is just as ugly. But now we have the open mouth, and some companies really have trouble painting teeth. Sometimes if you put too much detail in between the teeth, there's a little bit of different colors on the teeth, which kind of gives you a little bit of highlighting of the spacing, but it doesn't really make him look awful. It just works. We can get to the articulation. This is not your usual Marvel Legends. You have what looks like a regular Marvel Legends shoulder joint. It can go up and down for that shoulder joint, but it doesn't have a bicep swivel. It can move this close to his face, and if you bend the elbow, he can almost touch his face. It's a single jointed elbow joint, goes out this much, and then the hands rotate as usual, and obviously it doesn't go any lower than this control panel right here, which blocks it. He can still get a lot of expressions. Being a character, you know, you're kind of limited to how you can pose him, so you really need to rely on the fantastic face sculpts and, I guess, non-verbal communication with the hands. On the left hand, it's the same mechanism. However, he is able to control this joystick, which is on a simple ball joint. It's just a ball inside a socket, so you can rotate this joystick around if needed and get left, right, upward, downward, that much. And using the trigger finger hand, he is able to grip it, and that looks really clean. For the legs, it can rotate all the way around if needed. There is a thigh swivel right here. You have a double jointed knee at the front with his little dangling legs. That's adorable. ankle articulation. You don't need that much articulation for this dude. He's literally a floating cup noodle. So this is one where you focus on the sculpt, which I think they've done really well. This figure is kind of big and chunky, so I put him with some taller figures here. Here is a Super 7 Ultimates Bebop and a Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Captain America. Here we have him next to a Marvel Legends Incredible Hulk and a NECA Krang bodysuit. I don't know where I put the Krang. And here he is next to a Mezco Batman and a Marvel Legends Thanos. So I bought this MODOK from Amazon.ca for 54 Canadian dollars. You can get this at most places right now. I'll have a link below in the description. Having had the Toy Biz MODOK, I think this is a very good replacement. The Toy Biz one definitely still holds up, but if you didn't get a chance to get that one, you couldn't complete the Build-A-Figure. You know, some of those pieces are hard to find throughout the years. This is definitely a MODOK that you should buy for your collection. It'll definitely stand out. You're not buying it for the articulation. You're not buying it for, you know, crazy toy photography shots, because he is kind of limited, and that's just by no fault of the manufacturer. That's the character in its own. They've given you a floating base for him to be on all the time. There's a lot of really great engineering and design on this figure, so if you get a chance to get this, I would definitely recommend it. What do you think? Do you think the Toy Biz MODOK is better, or are you going with the Hasbro? Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. All of that goes in helping this channel grow. Thank you for watching, and keep toying around. Peace!